In this video, I'm going to explain how to take an image, whether it be a PNG or a JPEG, and convert it into a ready-to-cut multicolor PNG that you can use with your Silhouette Cameo, Cricut, or whatever cutter you use. Let me start off by saying this is the way that I do it. There's definitely a lot more efficient ways of doing this. Personally, I find this method to be really easy, really quick, and just overall beginner friendly. In this video, I am using the latest version of Adobe Photoshop, but in future videos, I will be going over how to do this using different software such as GIMP or Inkscape. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell notification so you don't miss out. All right, let's get started. So the way I go about this is I start selecting each different color. There's a few different ways we can do this. A quick way is to just go ahead and use the magic wand tool. If you don't have any of these options available to you here on the side, what you can do is go on over up here on the top right to the search bar and just type in magic wand and you'll see it there. Using the magic wand tool, go ahead and click the color that you want and it'll select the entire area with that color. If you want to select more parts of the image, you can go ahead and hold down shift and then click on any other area you want selected. Alright, so we have all of our beige selected. Now what I'm going to do is right click and layer via cut. Now let's toggle the visibility of the first layer, and there we have all our beige. Now let's go ahead and separate the neon pink. Instead of using the magic wand tool, I'm going to go ahead and do it a different way. I'm going to go ahead and select all of the neon pink at once. The way we're going to do this is go ahead to the select option up here, look for color range, and using the dropper, just go ahead and select whatever color you want selected. In this little window over here, you're going to see what's selected, which seems to be right. If it's too much, if it's selecting colors that you don't want on there, you can go ahead and decrease the fuzziness. So now as you can see here, the only thing that'll be selected is the hat. But the way it was before was perfect, so let's put the fuzziness all the way up and click OK. Now as you can see, all the neon pink is selected. Make sure that I am on the correct layer selected up here. And the same as before, we're just going to go ahead and right click and layer via cut. Now one thing to note, if you don't have layer via cut when you right click, or if nothing comes up, it's most likely because you don't have one of these three selector tools active. So just go ahead and click on either one of these. Typically I'll just be choosing the magic wand tool, and then you can right click and layer via cut. Now we have the neon pink separated. Now I'm going to go ahead and separate the white and the orange. So now we're left with the black underbase. When it comes to the first layer of vinyl, which is usually the black outline, having something like this isn't really ideal because when you cut the vinyl itself and you start layering it, as you press the vinyl, it'll start to shrink and all the edges won't really be lining up at that point, and you'll be having gaps in between colors. You'll see parts of the shirt in places and it just doesn't look good. So what I like to do is fill it in entirely and just make it one big solid block. The easiest way to do that would be to go ahead and select the image itself. Now let's go ahead and select the inverse. So the actual image is selected. Create a new layer right above it, and using the paint bucket tool, just fill it in black. Now as you can see, this part will be a little bit tricky because if I go ahead and fill it in, nothing's going to happen because it connects to the outside. So what I'm going to do in this case is just go ahead and deselect everything. Get my brush tool, which you can just hit B for, and just fill this in right here, just enough to close the gap, make it look even. Fill in any other little gaps you have. And now once again, we can go ahead and select everything, select the inverse, and I'm just going to get the brush again, make it big, and paint it in. And now we have the solid fill first layer. This layer we can now go ahead and get rid of. So we have our first layer, which is the black layer. Ignore the naming scheme up here. This was just the order that it was cut. So our first layer is going to be our black layer. Our second layer is our orange layer. Third layer is the white layer. Fourth layer is the neon pink layer. And the fifth layer is the beige layer. So now that we have this separated by colors, we can go ahead and save each file individually. Always make sure you save them as PNGs so that way you get the transparent background. Once everything is saved, let's go ahead and load up our cutting software. In my case, I'm using Silhouette Studio, and I'm going to drag and drop each one of my different color layers. Now, as you can tell, this is absolutely huge. So let's go ahead and fix that. Let's select everything and let's select this little square in the corner and just make it all a manageable size. So now that we have all our different layers here, you can line everything up to make sure it's good. And there we have our ready to cut image separated by colors.